Good day, my people. The breaking news getting to us now on Twitter by Sahara reporters is that the electoral body Inec has agreed to extend the registration by 60 days. In the report states that the Inec, the Independent National Electoral Commission (Inec), has agreed to extend the ongoing continuous voters registration exercise by 60 days. The exercise was initially slated to end by June 2022 before the calls to extend the CRV exercise came. Following the increase in registrants, Sahara reporters had reported that there was a surge of registrants in various voting centers across Southeast. Basically, people had started registering everywhere and now they're extending it. But, however, we should remember why they're extending it. And this article goes to point us towards that direction. It says, it also reported that the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja had stopped the electoral body from ending the exercise until all eligible voters had been registered. If you are not aware, between the period of last week, a couple of informed and worried Nigerians, about 185 of them, took Inec to court in Abuja, the High Court, to complain that it was unethical and it was against the law for Inec to end the registration almost 8 months before the time before the time of the election. When in Inec's own constitution and in the federal constitution, they are not supposed to end it. They have up until 90 days to the election to register voters. Why are they ending it so soon? So they had to take them to court, and finally the court passed a statement that INEC are not allowed legally to end the registration. This is part of the pressure that has made INEC go back on this thing. Aside from that, youths all over the country has been clamoring on Twitter, everywhere, quoting INEC and making sure to mount pressure on them that this registration must be extended. It took all this piling up of pressure for them to finally extend it by adding 2 more months to the registration. The committee held a meeting with INEC yesterday. Briefing lawmakers on Wednesday, the chairman of the House of Representative Committees on Electoral Matters, Ashiatu Jibril Duku, told her colleagues that the commission has agreed to extend the CRV to 60 days. The committee held a meeting with INEC yesterday and they agreed to extend the CRV. All our resolutions were approved, she told members of the House at plenary on Wednesday. The House of Representatives had last Wednesday urged INEC to extend the deadlines for the continuous voters registration by an extra 60 days from June 30, 2022 to enable more Nigerians to register. The House also called on the Commission to deploy additional staff and voter registration machines across the country to meet the objective. The Chairman House Committee on Media and Publicity, Honorable Benjamin Kalu, through a motion, had noted that the ongoing CRV by INEC was scheduled to end on June 30 ahead of the 2023 general election. Now I want you to understand something about how Nigeria works. If you are here, you probably already are fully aware of this, that in most cases, loopholes are set. Obstacles are set on many processes in a bid to curtail the ability for Nigerians to get easy access to stuff. A lot of times, I went to do my immigration registration of international passports renewal not too long ago. The way the system works, they intentionally create obstacles. Like there is no straightforward process. There is no straightforward place to just go and pay. There is no straightforward, as soon as you go, they merge you with this officer. This officer is telling you this. That officer is telling you this. This officer is taking you to meet his person inside here. There is no straightforward, easy, straightforward process. Imagine a place like immigration where you know you are coming there for passport-related matters. As soon as you get there, on the board, it should be placed, passport office, go here to start, go here to do renewal, go here to do this, go here for collections. Everything should be well documented, but no, it is not. Why? A lot of the officers there are collecting funds from people to make the process smoother, collecting funds if you want to do it faster, collecting bribes, if you, whatever way in the process. If you go here, you want to queue here to get NIN check, you have to pay another bribe. If not, if you try to follow the already process that is laid down, that is not laid down, the process that is very, very vague and ambiguous, if you try to follow it on your own, you end up wasting your time. You end up not getting your passport or your renewal for sometimes 3 weeks, a month, maybe more. However, if you settle all the people you have to settle, aka bribe them, you end up getting your thing in a week and you live there. So obstacles like this are placed. This is the exact same thing that is happening with Inec. I am not saying, I'm not coming out here to say everybody in Inec is part of the political machine that is designed to attack us. I'm not trying to push conspiracy theories, but I'm trying to let you know that in Nigeria, when there is an inefficiency, there is always a reason behind. There is somebody that has something to gain. These people saw the piling up of people over the months, over the past 1 month, trying to get registered. It did not come to their own reasoning. They that their job is to make things free and fair, to make elections fair, to make sure people participate. They did not think of it of their own good mind to extend this thing. Meanwhile, they have 8 months. They say they are cleaning up data. How long does it take to clean up data? How long does it take to... You already... First of all, what are we registering? We have NIN in Nigeria. We have BVN in Nigeria. Most of the Nigerians, most Nigerians that are eligible to vote have one of these 2 things. If not, it will be highly impossible for you to function in this country. Your SIM card, you cannot even get functional without NIN. So basically, everybody that's of the age to vote has one of these 2 data. Why can we not pull from one of these databases to get all the database of voters that we need in Nigeria? Why do we have to go and queue up, do fresh registration, take your time, wait another couple of months to get the card? What is the magic they are performing that takes that long? Your BVN has your age, your NIN has your age. So what is the magic that requires all this bureaucracy? And I remind you of this statement again. Wherever there is bureaucracy meant to slow things down in Nigeria, somebody has something to gain from that situation. That is how it is. It took pressure, mounting pressure, the whole of Nigerians, all the youths in Nigeria, mounting pressure on these people before they decided to shift this thing. So the questions we have to ask now is, who is benefiting from trying to stop this? We need to look into things. See, there is one thing the NSAS protest brought to Nigerians that the old men trying to hold on to power do not understand yet. To the largest extent, NSAS did not end up fulfilling all its aims and ambition. But the number one goal it fulfilled adequately was it gave Nigerian youths the ability to realize that they have impact, that they can actually push the system. They can force the system to listen. They can make the system quick. They can put this fear in the people above that, we are not just sleeping. We need our rights. We need things to go like this. That NSAS protest, the spirit of NSAS protest, is the exact same thing behind Peter's Obi campaign. Despite all the push from left, right, and center, the youths are saying, no, this is what we want. And this is what we are going to put all our efforts towards. It is that same spirit. I know the Nigeria have been for so many years. This issue of Inec would have closed and nothing would have happened. But Nigerians have awoken that spirit, especially the youths have awoken that spirit that we can do things, we can mount pressure, we can make things happen. And that is why you are saying this. And we have to maintain this. We have to keep this spirit on. We have to keep pressing. We have to look into Inec, look into the processes, look into vote buying, look into all aspects of hurdles that can end up stopping this mission. see why they are there, see who is benefiting, and see how we can apply pressure to make sure it doesn't stop us. Nigeria must get better. We want to see a place where things can be better for us. We want to see a place where we will see food to eat. We will not be worried about trying to protect our lives. We can focus all our energy on trying to make things for ourselves in a system that actually enables what you are trying to do to work for you. We have to look into everything, and we have to apply pressure everywhere. I want to take your note to another article that further buttresses my point I'm trying to make. This article by David Hudeyin he posted on Business Day. He wrote for Business Day rather. The article is titled Inec Shifting Goalposts and Political Disenfranchisement in Nigeria. I will not read the whole article. I will post a link to it in the description. So if you want to read everything, you can go there and read for yourself. But I want to read one small excerpt from the article that further buttresses this point. Forever shifting goalposts, Inec's rigged game. You might recall how during the thick of the EndSARS, a narrative started making its way around along the lines of, instead of blocking the roads and reacting emotionally, these young people should come together, register a political party, and put a name forward. And put forward their protest leaders as their candidates. They have demonstrated that they can organize and fund themselves. So they need to apply this capacity to politics instead of blocking the road and blah blah blah. Yes, I remember this clearly. During the EndSARS period, a lot of talks started coming up. Since these people can organize, since these people can donate money, let them put it in, let them go the legal route, let them go to politics, vote their own candidate, put their protest leaders, and reinforce capital, gather themselves, organize and vote for their people. Well, it so happened that some of us actually did just that, or tried anyway. Inspired by the apparent wisdom and common sense in the above narrative, a few of us came together, organized ourselves with a WhatsApp group, and set about trying to register a political party in October 2020. This was when we realized that the game was rigged. Our choice of name was rejected out of hand by Inec when we jumped through the first set of hoops. Then we realized that the structure of the party itself had to change to fit Inec parameters. According to Inec rules, all principal posts within the party must reflect federal character. In other words, right from the get-go, a party we were trying to set up for the sole and express purpose of pushing an agenda of fiscal federalism, executive decentralization, and political restructuring had to potentially compromise that mission by putting people into key roles for no other reason than the few ethnic quotas decreed by Inec. We also had to pay a registration fee of 1 million naira, after which we would have to hope that Inec approved us. Quickly, the reality of participating in Nigerian politics and the electoral process dawned on our little cycle. The system was set up to self-replicate and to destroy any attempt at political deviation. We could not, in fact, register a political party built around the ideals of EndSARS, because the very conditions for registration ensured that it would be diluted and doomed from the start. For reference, all you need to register a political party in the UK is a copy of your party's constitution, a copy of your party's financial scheme that has been adopted by the party, and a non-refundable fee of $150, pounds rather, about 120,000 rand. To register a political party in the UK, you don't need any long protocol. All you need is a copy of your party's financial scheme, a copy of your party's constitution, and an application fee of 120,000 naira. In Nigeria, you need 1 million to register. Now you see how hurdles are placed to make sure you are kept out. things like this is what I'm explaining. When you see hurdles in Nigeria to any process, it is there intentionally. From my experience in Nigeria so far, that is what I've come to the realization of. If you go to that immigration office I was talking about earlier, there is a place for VIPs, aka people that are above those systems, that instantly, as soon as they come in, straight they are taken there. Straight, everything is fixed for them. They could have their passport the same day or the next day and live there. These hurdles are placed, and the people who suffer from these hurdles is the average man who does not have the political backing to circumvent these systems. In the UK, independent candidates are also allowed to run without a party. Come to think of it, why must you be in a party to run an election? Between the country that charges 1 million naira to maybe getting on the ground floor of the electoral process, and a country that charges 120,000, which is effectively optional, because even the 120,000 naira you have to pay is for party registration in the US. If you don't want party, you can register yourself free of charge as an independent candidate in the election. Which one of these places actually want people to participate in politics? This revolution must not be limited to one small thing. We have to look into everything. Look into the candidates. Look into the process that will get them there. And even when we're voting those candidates, we are going to look into them. Look into their replacements. Look into every aspect of the system, and whatever makes no sense, we must challenge. We must ask questions. We must investigate. This is a job for all Nigerians that want to save Nigeria. It is not a job that can be done by only investigative journalists, or a job that can be done by only people you term freedom fighters. If you want a safe life for your children, if you want a safe life for your brothers, your cousins, we all have to put our heads together to make sure we reanalyze this thing called Nigeria. Make sure every part of it, every part of the systems that work in this country, we have to investigate from top to bottom and make sure things are working for us, working towards our success. Okay, here it even goes on to talk about the voters card. The permanent voters card is a landmine. Repeatedly since 2015, multiple lawsuits have sought to challenge the unconstitutional imposition of this thing on the Nigerian electoral process. Nothing has come of these lawsuits, even as millions of Nigerians continue to complain about the obvious impropriety of the situation. Young Nigerians would rather complain about bad governance than get PVC. This is the normal thing you hear from political discussion, from commentators. That is until one digs into what the reality of PVC is. The reality that registering for one is a Herculean effort, already evidenced by the 8 hours, 2 days people are spending queuing up just to get PVC. That involves queuing for hours and dealing with incompetent and adversarial civil servants. So basically this system is designed to ensure people do not come to register, because there is no reason for it to be this cumbersome to start with. In fact, there are people challenging the legality of even the system in place. The reality that most young Nigerians with jobs and businesses that are part of the 80 million, 90 million people currently living in poverty in Nigeria, 60 million of which are in extreme poverty, and you expect them to leave their jobs and businesses and come to queue for 2 whole days, queue for 12 hours to get PVC, to give them the right to vote, which should be their right as a citizen of Nigeria. The reality that most young Nigerians with jobs and businesses simply cannot get up and take 2 to 3 days, and they cannot afford it to take 2 to 3 days out of their schedule to queue for a piece of plastic that could easily be printed in 5 minutes. Why not? You have NIN, you have BVN, the country has your data to the T. Why can they not just input this and print it for you in minutes? Why do you have to queue for 8 hours? Why do we not have enough machines to cover these things? The reality that while banks and other commercial establishments has deployed self-service technology, yes, you can go now to banks in towns and print your ATM by yourself. ATM that has access to your money, yet you cannot print your VVC. The reality that while banks and other commercial establishments have deployed self-service technology to print smart card in as little as 5 minutes, PVC printing and delivery takes anything from several months to a decade. The reality is that APC and PDP politicians regularly deploy thugs to disrupt PVC registration and collection process. We saw one in Lagos recently, where thugs were sent to disrupt the PVC registration process in Alaba. More ways they are trying to stop you from voting. The reality is that after somehow jumping through all these intentionally placed obstacles, one will turn up to the voting booth on election day and likely find that the card reader cannot verify one PVC, effectively disenfranchising one. Nigerians, we need to wake up. We need to wake up and look into everything. I think that's enough from this article. The article goes in further detail to further describe it. I'll put the link in the description so you can go and read for yourself and see what this investigative journalist went through and got on his own. Anyway, Nigerians, my goal is just to let you know that we all need to keep our eyes open. We need to raise alarm on Twitter. Raise alarm. Yes, they say Twitter politics, but yes, Twitter is the engine room behind this change, this revolution that is ongoing. If you have something you have questions about, you have something you're troubled about, post it on Twitter. Tag important people. Tag me. Tag everyone. We will repost it until if people that have the ability to look into it, that have the ability to push it forward, we push it forward. Everybody has a role to play. If you cannot fly, run. If you cannot run, walk. If you cannot walk, crawl. As long as we are all putting our efforts towards doing this, everybody should be playing a role. It doesn't matter how small. We should all play a role and make sure we get where we are going. We don't want to live a country that is hopeless for our children, for our progeny. We don't want to live a country that is hopeless for people in the future. So hopeless that children in secondary school are already doing yahoo because they have no hope. There is no other place they can think of that gives them a hope for a better life. There's a state of hopelessness that causes hookup being the reign of the day in Nigeria everywhere you go. Prostitution from up to down. Because young girls have no hope in the system, that the system is there for them. We need to rebuild hope. And it's a job that is for us all. I just want to see a buoyant Nigeria.